Hello, you all. This is Cholera with Moletrap, and we're going to be doing set 2 of SKT1 versus Lecaf Oz. This is ForGG versus Hyuk. ForGG for Lecaf Oz, and the Hyuk monster for SKT1. Hyuk, you know, solely responsible for 6 or 7 losses for SKT1. I believe 1 win for them, making him right now the second worst ranked player in the Pro League. But that is okay because his team is up 1-0 right now, and his team also lacks Zerg, so I guess they take pretty much anyone. Maybe I should apply to be their next Zerg. Uh, but this could be an interesting game. We'll see what Hyuk can do for us against ForGG, who is a one-time MSL winner. Hasn't been doing that great this season in the Pro League. I can go look up his stats. I think he's around. Yeah, geez, I actually don't even know what he's at, but he hasn't been doing great. I know that. And they're gonna be playing on. Harmony. Yeah. Wow. Took me a while. So this could be an interesting match. We'll see what happens.
Harmony, aka a new fresh wind and a bright moon, which is a mouthful.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, we were talking earlier about how Hyuk, how about about how SKT1 has not been doing that well in the Pro League. Think about if all those losses of Hyuk's were actually wins, SKT1 would probably
Yeah.
be in the top ranks right now. So Hyuk is completely and solely individually responsible for SKT1 not being in the top ranks of Pro League.
Well, him and
That's
S2
my
and
logic.
Zerg, the Zerg with a beautiful 0 and 4, and S2 another Zerg with a 2 and 6. So yeah, go on though,
Right.
Moletrap.
Oh yeah, the Zerg. Oh, you mean the guy who at the beginning of the last MSL everyone thought was going to be better than Jaedong and like the next big
Right,
Zerg
right.
player, and who I told when they were full of crap, and now the Zerg still
I think they're
sucks.
gonna. I'm gonna start a petition to get rid of the definite article "the" in front of Zerg. I think his name should just be A Zerg. It should just be A Zerg or
A
some
Zerg.
Zerg. Yeah, not the Zerg. He does not deserve it, man. 0 and 4, that you get stripped of the definite article when that happens.
I agree. Anyway, for GG, by the way, the teal Terran, for those of you who have never seen a StarCraft game before, and I say that kind of sarcastically, but you do get people, like I said the other day, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to explain this for those of you that haven't watched the MSL before, and some guy's like, I've actually never seen an MSL before, so thanks for explaining it to me. So for GG
Yeah,
is
it's
a
true.
very famous Terran player. He's the teal Terran in the bottom left corner, and Hyuk is the not famous Zerg player, the white Zerg in the top left-hand corner. And looks as if Hyuk has gone for a 12 hatchery build, and for Gigi's just going. Actually, he's getting an early refinery, so
Yep.
we've seen a lot of tendency towards Terran mech builds against Zerg lately. It looks like for Gigi might be planning on doing something like that. He's scouting with an SCV pretty quickly as well. Well, I guess that's kind of normal. But so he may be thinking about getting in some early vulture harassment or something like that, trying to pick off some drones early on.
Yeah, and we're seeing a drone scout coming from Hyuk, but it's going to get there pretty late. Looks like his Overlord's not even going to try to get into the base of the lower left. He's afraid of Marines, and that's for good cause. Of course, you don't want to lose an Overlord that early just to scout. But, this has been the new standard for Terrans nowadays almost. Like, we're seeing literally fewer Medic Marine games than we're seeing mech builds in the last 2 months or so. I'd say it's a pretty recent development ever since Fantasy started with his shenanigans, and then now everybody's doing it. So, I mean, this could turn out to be very interesting. Flash, of course, certainly has always been doing it once in a while. But I mean, pretty much every Terran has been going mech against Zerg recently, and I'm not sure if this is necessarily the best map to do it on. It's a big macro map, a lot of resources around. I would prefer going for a fast expand, I think, but we could be seeing something like what Unmagic did in the OSL group that I just casted. You guys may have watched it by now, but he went for fast Vulture into Command Center every single, well, 2 of his 3 games. So, that was certainly very interesting to watch. And he went for Vulture run-bys, basically. So here's Jaedong and and Fantasy, 2 very good players. Jaedong, not a bad Zerg, looking
They're
on
going to be playing
intently and
later.
seeing, yeah, and seeing what's happening. That's right, they're going to be playing later, duh.
Right, and fantasy kind of almost famous for the fantasy build.
Oh, well, we are seeing fast
Uh,
expand. Wow.
yeah. So this is you're right. This looks. I was gonna say that too. This looks exactly like what Up Magic's build was versus Zerg, in the prelim in the early stages of the Star Leagues, because he did.
Yeah.
I think I casted Up Magic in the MSL, and he did the same
Right, right,
thing
and it just OSL.
against Great. And so, excuse me, for GG looks to be doing almost exactly the same thing, literally like down to the build because he had a thing where he
Right.
took SCVs off gas to get the command center and then went for Goliaths and that sort of thing. So we could be seeing almost exactly the same thing. And yeah, so kind of interesting, and that's why they showed Jaedong in fantasy is because another Terran versus Zerg going on later, and another Zerg player who is known for that sort of thing. And actually, Hyuk getting okay, he's getting his Hydralisk down now, so he's got a sunken going down in his front door, so he might be ready for this vultures for. Well, I'm not sure why he's delaying these vultures. Oh, I guess you're right. He is going for some kind of a run
Speed.
by. He's getting enough
Yeah.
vultures to move in instead of just going in with one. So good call on that. But he's probably going to switch to Goliaths here, and there's the armor. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to wait. If he's doing Up Magic's build, he's going to wait for 3, I think, and then once the speed upgrade clicks in, he's going to try to do a run by. I'm not sure if Hyuk has the sense to block his ramp, because right now he's got one sunken, second one
He
coming
has.
in. Looks like he does have a block. Yeah, he does have a block, so he is going to be fine against this, I think. And this is, I don't know if this is such a great opening if you can't get this harass in, and I think it's one of those builds that you can do once and really surprise a Zerg player. I don't know if this is a bread and butter build because it really can get countered pretty darn easily by doing exactly what Hyuk's done in this game. Just build a couple Sunkens and block your ramp, and that's it. The vultures become useless. Well, they can give you some map control because they do get mines also, and that stops the Hydras from killing you. But still, overall, you're forced on the defensive for quite a while. You have to get up enough turrets or Goliaths to deal with the Mutalisk harass. And here we're seeing the engineering bay going down. By the way, apologies earlier before you guys all yell at me. ForGG is actually doing great this season. For some reason, I mistook him with someone else, I think. And he is 8-3. I'm not sure if it was before this game or afterwards, but he is certainly, better than 2-1, so he is doing fine. And part of the reason why Lecaf is number 2 to Samson Khan, who's in number 1. And before this game was played, this team, SKT1, was tied for 6th place with Woonjin, making it very important that they win and try to get into the top
Mm.
6.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about the vultures with the mines because again, that's kind of how Up Magic used it, more of a map control thing than a harassment, to get that expansion up, and he was able to. And then, I mean, for Gigi, as with Up Magic, was able to get an expansion up extremely quickly, and if you lay down enough mines, it stops those groups of hydras, and we actually saw mines going in and popping an entire squadron of 6 hydras
Yeah.
against Up Magic, and so if for Gigi can get lucky with that sort of thing. But it looks like in those games, by Great, for instance, he tried to go a lot of Lings and a lot of Hydras and take the ground first, um, and then go Mutas. But Hyuk has not tried to go anything. He's just gone straight for some defense and now for Mutas. And so it's going to be all Mutas here. And I think that for Gigi's going to be able to defend this. He's got a decent amount of Goliaths. And if he has the Charon boosters almost upgraded, he's probably going to be able to do a decent job against these Mutalisks. As I said, he is picking off some SCVs, but they're getting cornered, actually. They're getting cornered in the back
Oh,
corner of the base, and
not
oh,
good.
they have nowhere to go. Nowhere to go,
Oh,
taking tons of hits on the way out as well. It looks like he managed to magically not lose a lot of those Mutalisks, but he took a lot of damage in that attack.
yeah. You do not want that. Uh, Actually going up at the tempo expansion of Harmony, which is behind your main. Kind of vulnerable, though, to Vulture Harass, actually, and other forms of harass. We're seeing, of course, uh, 4GG sticking with this mech build, not going to switch back to Medic Marines at this point. Going to be Goliath tank from now on, and Hyuk doing a decent job, but his mule is going to be pretty much worthless after this for doing much else than dying, unless he rests him for a while. And what, really the Terran player can do is put a lot of pressure in the mid game. Oh no, Hyuk. Oh, Hyuk, well, actually he's gonna find some space here, but 4GG is gonna meet him with a lot more Goliaths, and not sure if this is gonna turn out well. Nope. Nope,
No, it was
Hyuk just did a
painful.
very expensive tour of 4GG's base with his Mutalisks. Good
Yeah.
work, Hyuk. But
Most
yeah,
costly
like what I was
scout
trying to say.
ever.
Yeah, He was trying to. You really want to watch out as a Zerg for the mid-game push from the Terran before you get Hive up. The Terran's just so powerful with their mass Goliaths with a few tanks, and I don't know, man, because Hyuk just really killed most of his mutas, and here becomes the mid-game push. It's gonna be tough for him to hold it back, I think.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't wasted those Mutalisks, he would have been decent. Would have been able to put up a decent fight with Mutaling in the mid game.
Yeah.
But now he's got like 4 Mutalisks instead of like 20. And so, okay, he's got more than 4 actually. He's putting out some more mutas. He's got, yeah, he's back up to about a dozen, but some of them are damaged. But I don't know. It's gonna be tough, and he hasn't gotten any Hydralisks. And whoa, watch out, Lings!
Oh,
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 jeez.
oh, bites
He
it.
almost did a good job, and he did a good job the second time of
Yeah.
using one Ling to distract the mine, but the first one just dragged the mines into the other Lings. That's not what you want to try and do. Um,
No.
but yeah, it is interesting. There's no Hydras on the ground, so he doesn't really need tanks. I wonder if he's going to make that switch when he realizes there are no
Oh,
tanks.
the
Here comes
attack!
the battle.
Oh wow, Mutiling attack in here. I don't know if this is gonna work. There's just too many glides in a good position. Not enough lings, and oh, failure. A lot of Mutalisks will have gone down there, and I think the better option perhaps is to go for the Hydra Muta instead of the Mutaling. I think Mutaling is just too weak to deal with mass Goliaths, especially when they're massed up like this. Oh man, those Overlords going to get sniped off. +1 Carapace for air, by the way, so he's definitely thinking about committing to Mutas, but meanwhile +1 attack now for those very powerful Goliaths, and really the attack helps so much for the Goliaths in their anti-air function, and looks like this hatchery might even go down now for Hyuk, and a couple of Goliaths might go up and try to kill off the new expansion at that temple area too. Really, I think at this point Hyuk is pretty much hooked, and we're once again not going to see an upset. This is going to be pretty much yeah, he's completely cooked basically at this point.
You and Rise had way too much fun using that word in that ZVZ that you casted the other day
Yeah.
about Hyuk getting hooked. And here comes the final hold off. If Hyuk can somehow manage to hold this off right now, he's going to be able to stay in the game a little bit longer. But if he loses this battle right now, he's completely dead. The Lings are going down. There's no Vultures to
Cool.
protect against Lings this time, but it's not enough. And the Lings go down, and there were actually not a whole lot of Goliaths left there, but reinforcements are streaming
Right.
in from 2 bases worth of Goliaths, 2 bases worth of resources rather, and Hyuk barely has his 3rd base up. I think he only has a couple drones there, so he is basically, I would say maybe even economically, maybe a tiny bit ahead, but not looking good at all. And yeah, here's Hyuk trying to pick
Yeah.
off some
Now.
reinforcements, but
Oh,
ouch! Look
what?
at all those missiles converging.
What was that? I don't know what that was. You can't attack with just Mutalisks on Goliaths. I mean, you need Muta to be coupled with something that deals more damage, and that would be Hydralisks would be the best option. And we've been seeing a lot of success. Like Jaedong versus Flash, for example. Jaedong had great success with just basically mass Hydras with a couple of Mutalisks thrown in to snipe tanks off, and that worked very well against Flash's mech build. In this game, though, we're seeing Mutaling, which certainly can be effective, but only against smaller numbers, and certainly not at this point. In the game, we're not seeing any higher attack, and the longer he stays in the mid game, the more Hyuk is pretty much screwed, because mid game the Terran has such an advantage with this build, with the mech build against mutas and hydras and whatnot. And just mutas cannot engage that main army. Okay, looks like he's gonna go in for sort of an all-in harassment slash attack on the main. Maybe he's gonna do nothing. He's gonna take down a turret and fly away.
Yes, indeed. I'm always surprised that Zerg players don't go more quickly. So,
Oh,
oh man, oh, ouch. Oh, that's just painful to watch. With those Charon booster upgrades, the Goliaths can just attack from so many positions at once. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, look at all those Goliaths, and basically all of those Goliaths can attack at the same time, where the Mutalisks have to, close distance to get in close. And here, yeah, he's trying for some more
What is he
harassment,
doing?
but ForGG is just gonna counter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I don't know what Hyuk is doing. Man, he should go. He should go switch to Terran or something and take lessons from I Love UV. Maybe he'll do better then, because there's no one
I
for
was
him to
gonna say,
practice with even.
what I was gonna say is, I don't know why Zerg players don't go for Hive Tech more quickly, because Hive Tech is
Yeah, yeah,
basically
they
the
should.
antithesis of Terran Mech. Swarm, Plague, and Adrenal Glands are like exactly what you need to
Yeah.
counter Terran Mech, and I don't know why Zergs don't go for that ever, in general.
Well, I mean, it is hard to survive though
I
if you
mean,
don't
it is
have enough
hard, but yeah,
ground
but
forces. Yeah, I agree with you entirely though. I thought Shine versus Unmagic was definitely one game where Shine should have gone for. Oh my God! I want to count how many times Mutalisks have flown over Goliaths without attacking them in this game, and I'm sure it's like 10 already. I mean, just how many Mutalisks were killed without attacking? Just ridiculous. Maybe 20, 30? I don't know. It's just been crazy. And for GG, I mean, sorry, Hyuk obviously is playing a Zerg versus Zerg because all he needs are Mutalisks to win this game. And oh, Science Vessels are going to be the nails in the coffin against that stacked up
wow.
Mutal army. There's going to be nothing he can do. I mean, absolutely nothing. So hopefully Jaedong won't end up being. I doubt Jaedong will end up being like this if Fantasy goes for something tricky like what 4GG is doing.
Do you think Fantasy's gonna go for Mech also?
I wouldn't put it
It's all he
past.
can
I
do.
I was certainly. Yeah, I mean he's very good with it, and I don't see why he wouldn't. Oh wow! Oh my God! Oh no!
Oh man.
Oh, and the Rockets blue glare, I guess. 1-1 Mutas. 1-1 Mutas. Not gonna do it
uh,
against 30 Goliaths.
this is just painful. When the Mutalisks
Yeah,
go in, it's just painful to watch them being slaughtered so badly, and Hyuk flying
and
out and only
yeah,
losing half his Mutalisk force. There's the vessel out now.
yeah. I mean, we could see some Valkyries too. That would certainly cut down the mutas pretty well
That'd be
too at this
hot.
point.
Oh hey,
Yeah.
some Hydras.
Oh, Hydralisks. Hydralisk. He should have gotten that about 8 minutes ago, I think, and he would have been fine defending against that many Goliaths. But it looks like better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, it does work better for Legacy wanted to put out Norm Mutas. He didn't want to spend any gas, but it does work better. I think it becomes a game of you know, you want you have to try you get Hydras and force them to get tanks, and then switch back to Mutalisks
Right, right.
to counter the tanks. And so it's a little bit easier for the Zerg to switch tech like that. And so I think it's a little bit better. It's still difficult to get that balance and um, try and accomplish that for Zerg, but I think it's a little bit easier for Zerg when you have to switch back and forth. For Terran, I mean, ForGG's just been able to go all Goliaths this whole game, and he hasn't
Yep.
been forced to try and switch tech at all, and I think that's been advantageous for him. But now he just has
And
too many Goliaths.
yeah.
Defense Matrix going
Oh,
off on
Team
one of the
Matrix.
Goliaths in front. This is the last attack for
Wow.
Hyuk, going in with a lot of
Gigantic battle.
forces. He's actually doing a lot more damage than I anticipated he would, with all these Hydralisks on top under the
No.
Mutalist, but it's just too many Goliaths are there, and it's only a matter of time, I think.
I love how Goliaths are bringing the A move to Terran, basically. I mean, this is like a Protoss versus Zerg here. All you gotta do, once you get your stuff set up, is just A move those Goliaths in, and they'll kill everything the Zerg throws at you. But, not if you have Ultras, that, like you said. Ultras and Cracklings and Dark Swarm eat this stuff. They just eat Goliaths up for breakfast. And, unfortunately, we haven't seen any sign of Hive Tech coming up. These Hydralisks are not going to cut it. Although Hydralisks are cost effective against Goliaths, but not when you have fewer Hydralisks than Goliaths. Hydras are a cost effective
Yeah,
counter, but it's just not going to work out at this point. I'm surprised 4GG has not taken down any expansions yet. He's just basically
yeah,
been
that's a good
killing off
point.
Mutalisk armies. But I think when he decides to strike, he probably will be able to take out one. Okay, there's a lot of Sunkens. That's actually a good reason why not. But here he goes. He's going to engage the army once again on open ground. He doesn't even need to irradiate. He's just using D-Matrix. And now I think he's going to have Siege up at the natural expansion. And this is the last stand here for Hyuk. I think he's pretty much hooked.
I think ForGG was just having too much fun. Like, it's really fun to just go around with a ton of
GG.
Goliaths and own Mutalisks. That must have been hilarious, going around just like killing stuff, like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, maybe. Trying to see how many mules you can kill with your Goliaths while they're not attacking
Yeah.
you. Really, just another day at work for 4GG, showing a very, very good Tyrant build here. And
So that's gonna tie up
Hyuk,
the series at 1-1 now. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I think we're out of sync a little bit, but that's okay. Hyuk is even worse now. He is 1-7. I think he was 1-6 before this game, but solidifying his second place to last position or whatever. Anyway, GG. See you in game 3.